All right, buddy. So what's your name and where are you from?
My name is Joe Serna. I was born and raised in California, a city called Stockton. It's just south of Sacramento, between Sacramento and San Francisco. I grew up there for most of it, until I joined the military. And then that brought me out to North Carolina. So for the last 20 years, I've been here in North Carolina.
Okay. Well, you say you joined the military in California?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to tell his story, obviously, and you know, this guy's background is serious. You know, you've done seen a lot of shit, man. And you know, first off, salute to you, man. You know, you've been through it. You've been through the mix. But you have a story that's out there. I believe, what'd you say, CBS ran it?
Yeah, CBS ran a special, the Sunday special.
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
It was pretty wild. You did a lot of time overseas. You came home, got into a little situation, but the story's amazing. You know, even though it kind of ended in a little differently than expected later on down the road. But we're gonna get into it, ladies and gentlemen. California. How the hell did you end up in military rather than the gang life?
Yeah, so that's a good question.
I mean, Stockton, that's right in the mix. You know.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty busy there. So I came from like a middle class family, but my mom and my father, that's my father. He grew up in the fields. And I didn't see any of that. And he's a hard worker. And so his whole mindset growing up, you know, just work for the family and try to provide. And so he's always taken care of me. You know, my sister and I, my brother. He's always looked out for us. So and he also kept us out of trouble. And so he wouldn't let us go that route. Yeah. Although most of my family was going in and out of prison, you know, he kept away from that life. So. And I'm pretty fortunate from that because it could have went bad pretty quick. Yeah. Just because the area that we got born and raised in.
Yeah.
So so I went to high school there, and around 1912, actually, you know what, my family, we started off young, so I started having babies when I was a baby.
Yeah.
And there was nothing like military or that type of life and law enforcement that was always frowned upon. And when I first joined the military.
Within your family?
Within my family.
Oh, okay.
Because they grew up. My family grew up during the Cesar Chavez movement, Martin Luther King, and all that. So they were always going against what they call
the system,
the government.
Yeah.
The system. So it was law enforcement, it was military. All that was frowned for them growing up, and it kind of bled over when I was growing up. So, you know, when I joined, I think I was the first male to ever join the military. So.
Wow.
We really didn't know anything about it, and I joined because I had a baby when I was a baby, so I kind of forced into a paycheck, really.
Yeah.
So that's how I got involved in the military.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is an understatement, but you definitely started off that family in the military with a bang, my friend. Like,
yeah.
Jeez.
For sure.
Anyways, we're gonna get into that, I'm sure, but. How old were you when you had your kid, man? You said you were a baby. Did you?
17, 18.
Okay.
17. And I didn't stop, man.
Oh, how many you got?
I got 7.
Whoo!
Bro, listen, man. I told my mom and dad. I said, listen, when I run out of seats in the station wagon, then I'll stop. Okay? It's time to stop, bro.
Yeah.
I'm getting old.
Yeah, seven heads, man. I can only imagine. I got 4. I mean, shoot, you know.
Yeah.
How many girls, boys you got?
I got my oldest is a girl. She's in the military, and I got 5 boys, and then my baby's a girl. So 2 girls and 5 boys, and I have a grandbaby, and I have a grandson and a granddaughter on the way.
Wow, that's wild, man.
So it's a big family. Yeah.
Hey, you look good for a granddad, man.
Ooh, my body don't feel like it. I don't feel like it, bro.
I know that's right, man. Well, you know, I love the military, man. You know, I always wanted to become a part of the military growing up, but I just failed, you know, literature tests. I was a dumbass. How do you fail them? How do you fail them, man? You know, but I graduated high school though in summer school, man. But if I would have passed that test, I probably would have been a Marine by now, you know, because that's who was in
Yeah,
there.
just because where you live.
Yeah, and then but eventually, you know, I went to prison just a few months later after failing that. But you, my friend, you were a Green Beret, correct?
Sure. Yep.
And how does that work? Do you just join the
So I joined the regular army first.
Okay.
I joined the military, and then you have to submit a packet and then get selected for it. Then there's a selection process for Special Forces Assessment Selection. If you successfully complete that, and then you're invited to attend the rest of the training kind of thing. And once you complete the training, you're on your beret or you're awarded your Green Beret. And that's probably about a 2.5 year process for that.
Yeah, and
that's all done out here in North Carolina.
And you, so you're pretty much just put in for it, and they select you.
Yeah, you go. There's a selection. There's a physical selection process for it. So you drop your packet, and then you fly out to North Carolina or wherever you're coming from. You go through, I think it's a 3-week course. It was 3 week for me, and then they evaluate you through your physical and I guess intelligence or something like that. Whatever the process is to selecting guys. And then after the 3 weeks, you go to a board and they'll let you know if you're going to move on to training. And that's the Green Beret training, and that's done here at Fort Bragg.
And how was that, man? That training compared to Green Beret training just compared to regular
Army.
Yeah.
It was tough, man. I'm not gonna lie. It was physically it was demanding. The selection process is 3 weeks, and they'll take you out into the woods, and they'll give you very little information, and they want to try to see if you can function, you know, physically on your own, and then function as a team member. So they'll put you in a group. It's a lot of walking, man. That's a lot of weight on your back. I mean, we're walking. I think I walked towards the end of my selection process. I think I walked close to a couple hundred miles.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
It's in the middle of nowhere, but the selection process is physically demanding. And then once you complete that, listen to the airborne school. You can jump out of planes, and then get assigned to Fort Bragg to complete the rest of your training.
Yeah.
And in Special Forces, there's like 5 or 6 different jobs you can do. So I took communications.
You took communications?
And that took me communication. That took me about 2 years to complete. Okay. And then once you get done with training, they'll assign you to a SF group, Special Forces group, which my group was here at Fort Bragg, so I didn't go anywhere for training. I stayed here. So.
And what exactly do you do during this communications? Like the things you can talk about if you can, like basic functions, I guess.
So the communication guy, he just sets up. He can set up the team internal. So if the 12-man team, he makes sure that all 12 guys can talk to each other through the radio. It's all radio and SATCOM, the satellites and stuff like that. But the communication guy just he bridges the communication piece from the team to the higher headquarters. Yeah. And we'll establish like SATCOM out in the middle of nowhere. We'll establish some type of SATCOM satellite communications channel. Like in Afghanistan, we used a lot of SATCOM. Yeah. For the big picture, for us to talk to like the Air Force or talk to our headquarters, but within our team, we use our little FM radios.
So you were the dude. So you were the dude holding the box, calling in the airstrikes and stuff like that.
No, that guy was next to me. So every team that goes on a mission in Afghanistan, they're assigned an Air Force. They're assigned a JTAC, called a Joint. It's the Air Force.
Oh shit.
His version of Special Forces. So they're special operators. So they signed one to us, man, and them guys could sing on the radio, bro.
What do you mean?
Dude, I couldn't tell you, dude. They are. I mean, literally, man. Our ass got in trouble so many times, like, outgunned, that we'd have to call in airstrikes, and they would stack aircraft. So they'll stack Apache. And when I say stack, they have about 3 or 4 different aircrafts, and they're talking on each one, and they're coming in. And once they go dry with all their ammunition, they'll push them off station, which means get them out of the air, bring another aircraft platform in, and start dropping bombs again. So that, I mean, they are a godsend, bro, on the radios, man.
Hey, that shit just gave
That's
me
badass,
chills, man.
Dude, they are bad. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that we call them some airstrikes, man. Where I'm like, damn, man. So no, they're the MVPs, man. Once we're on the ground, and once we start getting into firefights, bro, it's the Air Force get on the radio. It's a wrap.
I never knew that they assigned an Air Force communicator like that, dude. I always thought it was just all one branch, you know, into that one squad. I never knew that. That's crazy. No,
they'll train us to talk on the radio. But dude, I'm the worst communication guy, man. I hate getting on the radio. I'd rather like interrogate somebody and let somebody else talk.
Oh,
but they'll send us some Air Force guys, man. Those guys are spot on, bro.
Yeah. So, I'm guessing by that statement you've probably done a few interrogation situations.
Yeah.
All right.
That came out too easy.
There's a little hint right there, ladies and gentlemen. There's a little hint right there. Little rubies, you know. But all right. So, explain to me, man, your first time witnessing an airstrike right there. Boom. You know, how was that?
First time I witnessed. What was the first time, man? Man, I think the first time I witnessed airstrike, man, we dropped. They blew up my truck.
What?
It blew up my truck.
Oh, the enemy.
No, the Air Force blew up my truck. It was F-16, yeah, bro. It was the first time I got, so my truck was hit by an IED, right? And we couldn't move it. And so we had to put a bomb on it. And that's the first airstrike I seen, was blowing up my equipment.
So what was the purpose of that? Just to move it out of the way?
So the areas that we operate in Afghanistan you're not going to send a tow truck. You're not going to send anything.
Yeah, you would destroy the evidence.
Yeah, so we'll destroy the classified stuff, and then we'll also destroy any type of anything that we don't want, you know, for us, the Taliban, to get a hold of. So, you know, they can use all the parts. We had a Humvee.
Technology
had a bunch
and stuff
of guns
like that.
Yeah. And equipment or whatever we had on the truck. But yeah, we dropped the bombs on it the first time. Yeah, that's the first time I seen an airstrike.
Pretty cool.
I think we put a 2,000 pound. Yeah, it was a 2,000 pounder. Yeah, it was a B1 that dropped it. Yeah.
Yeah. See, people don't understand how damn heavy them missiles are, man. Them things are heavy, dude.
2,000 pounders. Yeah. JDAMs, bro. JDAMs. That means they'll go into the ground and blow up.
Oh, those are like bunker busters.
Yeah.
Them things are freaking
we
crazy,
on the
man.
truck, yeah. But the truck that I was on, I blew it up first. Like we put 54 blocks of C4 on it, and I had an Australian SF team come down to my truck, and I put all the C4 on there, man, and I think we put like a 5-minute time fuse on or something. Give us 5 minutes to get away, and dude, I pulled pins on that, and I popped it, and I heard it burning, the fuse, and dude, I hold ass. But I have video of that one, of the truck going up. Yeah, but we blew it up, but it just blew the engine stuff up on it. But we had to come back and drop bombs on it afterwards just to get it out of the road.
Yeah.
But them savage, we after we dropped on it, there was stuff left on the truck. There's stuff around it, and then you can see from the Predators, like hours later, man, they came in and pulled that thing apart, bro. They took it all, man. So whatever was left, man, they used it.
Yeah. I'm sure even if they weren't using it for that, someone was just taking it to try to sell it, make a little money or something. You know what I mean?
Dude, they took it straight to the house.
Yeah. Hey, look, I got a couple buddies that, you know, go overseas and shit, and they're doing the private shit now. They're not in the military anymore. They're doing private stuff. But damn, he's up in, you know, around those little areas with all the people, man. They're hustlers, man. Hey,
that's some good money too, bro.
Hey, they making money. Them dudes are hustling. It looks like money. Chicago and Iraq. You know, like shit. They're selling weed, steroids, all kinds of shit out there. I'm like, damn.
On the market, yeah.
I'm like, man, y'all crazy out there, you know.
Hey, I tell you what, man, that stuff they sell on the market over there, man, it's legit stuff. It's legit stuff. It'll break you out, though. It'll break you out and get you drunk, man.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Well, how far along in the Army were you when you became Green Beret?
So I was in 5 years, and I had dropped my packet for the selection process, and 9/11 hit. And the month after 9/11, I was going through training. So end of 2001. So about 5-6 years.
Oh shit! So they threw you in
yeah,
the mix after that, huh?
Threw straight in the mix, man.
That was
And look, man,
probably like the worst time to sign up. Worst or best, depending on how you're looking at it, right?
Yeah, well, you know what, man? Going to training, man. Originally our group it focuses in South America. Like,
Colombia.
Come back to Colombia, Colombia, on all the drug addictions down there. But after 9/11, man, they sent my group in and out, man. At least once a year for about 8 years to Afghanistan. So that's where I did all my time, man. Was Afghanistan. So I did about from 05, 06, 07, 08, and then I got about 4 years over there.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't straight, was it? Do they consider them like tours every time you come back or something?
We'll do 9 months, then we'll come back for 9, about 8, and then go back over for another 9. And then that's kind of we call it operational tempo. That's how our op tempo went. So we was in and out. So when we were back here in the States, we were, maybe out in Nevada, training up to go back out. So we spent a lot of time away from the house just because we had to get ready if we were over there fighting.
Yeah. How was the flight over there, man? A long one?
Man, I dropped 2 Ambien and was out, bro.
Oh, really?
Man.
How long of a flight is it though? Like 10 hours, something like that?
About 9 or 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 9 or 10 hours. But we have this big old aircraft, and we put these pallets in there, and then they'll give you like 6, 7 Ambiens just for the time change, for time adjustment. And then so I just dropped to. Every time I went, man, it was like a quick ride for me.
Yeah.
Once the bird takes off or the plane, and it's at altitude, I'll just take my seatbelt off and jump on one of the pallets, man, and cruise.
It's crazy,
so,
man.
Yeah.
You ever do any missions or anything? You jump out the chopper, just parachute on in?
No, I never parachute in. I fast roped in. I never parachuted
fast
in.
Roped in? That shit's how high do they fast rope in, man? About 40, 60 feet?
I think the highest, man, is like 120. But man, I'll tell you what, bro. If they're at 120, something's wrong, bro. That's like that Black Hawk stuff.
Yeah, they shouldn't be there, right?
No, man, I didn't even like doing 40 feet.
Yeah.
Because you burn in.
Yeah.
So we did about on average 25 to 30 feet, and that's still. I was like, man, if you could go 25, 30 feet, put me on the ground. all that shit, yeah. Man, you got so much weight, man. You got about 150 pounds worth of stuff on you, and that's not including your weight. So if you get on that rope and you start sliding down, your hands are gonna burn, your boots are gonna burn, and then the next guy's gonna come right down on top of you. They would put me on the ground.
Yeah.
So, and the worst part is at night. So it's pitch black, so you're hoping you can see the ground a little bit, but usually them things are hard. They come down pretty fast.
That's crazy.
And then the rotor wash on the blades, they give you that. They push you down because the helicopter blades.
Yeah.
So that also pushes you down.
Yeah, the air and all that.
Yeah.
I got so many questions, man. Every time I, talk to someone that's been in the military or been through the shit, man, I always got so many questions that I always lose track. But would you say training, the Green Beret training and regular training, had you prepared fully for what you were about to go in front of? I mean, does it? I understand it gets you physically right, but I mean, is it really there? The training really gets you ready for that shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And even it's weird, man. Even throwing hand grenades in the basic training, I still remember that when I was throwing grenades over there, how to hold on to it, the things you say to yourself before you throw it, and stuff like that. So even basic training still programmed me on handle stuff. But when you talk about SF training, you're talking about another level of training. You're talking about like from high school to college kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so and our training my training kicked in through countless times. When I got blown up, man, my training kicked in. Even when I was on the ground laying down, my training still kicked in on how to grab a gun and instinctively pick it up and clear it, load it, and shoot. So, yeah, the training always kicked in, man.
What rank did you manage to get up to?
E7.
E7?
Yeah.
And how long altogether were you in?
19 years. Yeah.
That's wild, man.
I could have stayed in the 20, and but dude, when I got back, I wasn't doing well in the head, and physically, I was still injured, and so I said 19 years, man. I was a little depressed because I see my boys still, doing their thing, and by that time, I was behind a desk, and I was like, I can't do it anymore. So mentally, I took a break, man. And so I was happy that when I stepped away, man, hung up the uniform, retired, I was done, bro. So,
Did it hurt a little bit? Besides seeing your homeboys out there still doing their thing?
You mean to retire, like to hang it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Because you got to remember, man, war, like going to war was my Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of Green Berets think the same way. Like, if you come up in the military and we're training to fight, and that's all we want to do is fight. And they finally say, man, you can't go anymore. We're gonna have a silent. We're gonna bench you, or we're gonna retire you, man. It takes everything that you tried, you wanted to do out of you. They're like, hey, you did your time, thank you, but you're not going back. And that kind of like, yeah, you know what? You're not going to the big game anymore. So why? So what's the purpose of me continuing, to put the uniform on? If I know that in my heart that I'll never go back, so that's why I kind of walked away.
Yeah, 19 years, man. I mean, 19 years of anything, my friend. Even if it was something negative, you're going to miss it somewhat. That's 19 years.
That's part of your life, man. That's who you are.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, were there any situations that you can talk about? Any stories that stick out that you would say, hey, it would be entertaining to tell someone if they were to ask about the military?
You talking about states, or you talking about over there?
Anything.
I see. Oh, okay. How about the first IED?
First IED. Let's roll.
Yeah, this is my first gun battle. Yeah, that was a good one, man. It was unfortunate, man. Some bad things happened, but that was so we were all, the team was always, a bunch of new guys, and first time in theater combat. Where you wanna bite your teeth off in a firefight or something like that. You're looking for it because you don't know what it's about. And unfortunately, mine came in at a heavy cost. So the story is that we were going on a patrol, and we had this, we're with we're Afghan National Army. They have our counterparts, so we kind of train them and we kind of hold their hand. And they had about 3 trucks. My team had about 3 trucks, and I was in the 3rd truck, and I was driving. And right before I left camp, some guy runs out the office, and he's like, with his equipment, he's like, hey, boss man said I can go with you guys on this mission. It's just a mission outside, but not too far outside the base. And I'm like, all right, bro, if you're gonna go, you're gonna drive. He's like, man, I'll do anything to get out of here. So I said, all right, man, jump in. And then so I jumped in the back of the truck, and he got in, he drove. And on our trucks, man, if we didn't have it was so new in the war that we didn't have the equipment we had today that protects us from IEDs and stuff like that. Yeah. So we just had a plain old Humvee, no armor, and we had we call jammers that jam the signals from IEDs. Yeah. So anybody's on the phone trying to squeeze it when you're driving by, you're not protected in this bubble, right? We're not jamming any signals. So we had that on the truck, and so anyway, we leave the wire, and we're about 10 miles down the road. It's a dirt path road, and I'm in the back, and it's an open truck. So I'm sitting in the back, and me and a translator of mine, a guy who speaks the Afghan language. So he's in the back with me, and about 10 miles down the road, man, is when it got bad. Yeah, things got really bad. We came across a village, and it kind of fishbowled, so you had to drive down the fishbowl, come back to the other side of the fishbowl. But it was really confined going into the fishbowl. It's called a choke point. And we handle things. We're like, all right, first truck goes, second truck goes. Once they cross to the fishbowl, the 3rd truck goes, which my truck is. So first and second truck crossed this area, and we started making our way into the fishbowl, and dude, I feel this massive blow, right? And I find myself on the outside, about 20 feet away from the truck. Like they blew me out of the back of the truck. And I didn't know what was going on. To Josh, I didn't know what hit me. I just know that I was sliding in the dirt, like it had launched me, and I was sliding. Shit. And so I popped my head up out of the dirt, right? And in my head, my mind put me back to when I was a kid. Bro, it took me back to when I was playing baseball, sliding in at playing major leagues or t-ball. That's where mine was. Yeah, and then I'm in the field, literally, man. I'm in the field of play. I'm between first and second base on a real baseball diamond, and the water, it's raining, and the water starts, the dust on the ground, and this is going through my head, starts popping up, like the soft dust, and the rain hits it, how it kind of powders. Well, that's going on in my head, and then my roll comes back in, and I hear those little dust, that little raindrops I seen, that was rounds. Those were AK rounds coming in at me, right? So that sound, the AK sound, that was coming in from the bad guys to me. And that's what woke me up, like out of my kind of, I don't know what kind of phase I was in. And I seen all the ground just exploding around me. And I was like, dude, I got to get up and get out the middle of the road, right? So I look behind me and I see this cloud, a mushroom cloud, coming from my truck. And I still didn't grasp the concept of what was going on. I just knew I was on the outside of the truck and we were in an ambush. And then I look over at my buddy that's between my truck and I, and his legs are going backwards, right? And I'm like, shit. And he's like, Joe, we hit ID. So he was sitting in the truck on the turret, in the top part. He shot out of the truck. The truck went forward. He fell down in the crater. So he was sitting in the crater. And the passenger, I look over to my right, like if we're going 12 o'clock, I look at to like the 3 o'clock position, and I see my boss. He's sitting in the chair. He's still sitting in his chair, but he's in the chair about 20 feet away from the truck. So he got blown out of the truck in the chair. Oh. So now I'm doing a head count. I'm like, that's 1 guy, that's 2 guys. And then I look about 50 feet away, man. I see another body. I'm like, what? I said, ah. So I said, let me go grab my gun because they're still firing at me. So I went back to the truck. I think I grabbed a 240. I grabbed the M4 because the rest of the truck, the whole truck was destroyed, bro. And so I started going to my buddy, man. And first thing I crossed, about 5 feet away from the truck, I find his hand. He had a watch on it. Right? And I'm like, God, man, dude, this ain't good.
His hand?
His hand, like this, just from the wrist up. He had a watch on it.
Jesus.
And my buddy grabs it and puts it in his pocket. And then I go another 15 feet and I find his leg. I'm like, damn, dude, this is horrible. And so I start running towards his body, man. And I get to him in his face and peeled. And I'm not going to say his name, man, because if his family's watching. So I'm just, in his face it peeled. And I'm like, damn, bro. And his other leg was hanging on by the clothes, nothing else. His other leg, his pant leg was holding his leg. It looked like his leg was off. It's his pant leg was holding his arm, right? And then his, I thought he was KIA'd right there, bro. I didn't know he was still breathing. And I kind of feel bad for this. I kind of feel bad because when they picked up his body, he kind of let out the, this deep sound. And, damn, bro. And so they're still firing at us. And I grabbed a couple guys. I said, man, we're going to run it. We're going to run. I know where the trigger guys are coming from. Let's go to I seen them run to the compound, bro. So I run to my boss real quick. I pull off my partner's his blood type. We got our blood type and our last 4 of Social Security, a Velcro to us. So I pull it off and I run over the truck. I said, call it in, man. Homeboy's dead. So I gave him the information so they can call. They can give him his Social Security number up. And then I run back and I grab a couple of guys. So we start bounding up to where the guys were in the house. They ran into a compound. And when me and my partner kicked in the door, we were ready. So we were so angry, bro. We kicked in the door, man, and dude, there was about 20 of them. And they were all sitting around, 20 dudes, all sitting around looking at us, right? And I knew what the trigger men were wearing. So I didn't go after all the older men. I just knew that the guys that were sweating, breathing really hard, and what they were wearing, I was like, hey, you two come with me. And so we dragged it. Yeah. So we
you say no more, my friend, you know?
Yeah. We took care of business there.
It's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, so that was my initial firefight. And that's when I said we dropped bombs on a truck that we seen the first airstrike. Yeah, it was that was the truck, bro.
Is that the one that you sent me an image of?
Yeah.
That thing was shredded, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
And was the other image from that too, where you had all the was it shrapnel?
No, that was so the one you seen was an IED, improvised explosive device.
Yeah.
That was from the ground. The one you seen, the other one you seen was from a suicide bomber. He blew himself up when I was interrogating him.
Oh,
so
shit.
That was from a different one, man. Physically, emotionally, man, I think that all the situations I was in, that was pretty bad. But because my first one was that serious, and we were in country not even a month, and we already suffered our first casualty like that. Dude, that was in my mind, man. That was gonna be a long fight, and emotionally, I think that one really triggered me. That one really got me into the fight. But physically, the very last incident I had took me out of the fight. Yeah. So. Yeah, bro.
That's crazy, man. And that the last incident's one with when you were interrogating dude.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's crazy, man. You know,
yeah.
You know, I can't compare prison and military at all to an extent, you know, when it comes to shit like that. But when it comes to taking away from your loved ones and stuff like that, yeah, we can,
sure.
You know, and this is why I want to ask you about that. You know, when I came home from prison, and a lot of other people, when they come home from prison, they don't talk about it. They just like, hey, it's our life. That's what we did. Mm-hmm. And we try to adapt to, you know, society the best way possible. I mean, is it really hard? I can't even imagine seeing something like that and being in that environment for 9 months straight and then coming home to fucking this shit, you know, PlayStations and surfing, you know, nothing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
you know, I'll tell you what, Josh, to be honest, man, everything I've seen over the experience, the hardest part was probably my second injury when my buddy, I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital again over there, and I called my wife, and she was 6 months pregnant, and this is after, damn, this is tough. So this is Dad called her up and said, hey, he's coming home. Right? This is after one of my incidents. The toughest thing I had to say was, and I didn't know that they had called and told her that. You know, they called and spoke to my wife and said, hey, Joe's coming home, man. He's you know, some bad stuff happened that day. And I picked up the phone and said, man, I'm not coming home. I chose to stay there. And that's probably the hardest thing out of all my experiences, just to call up and say I'm not coming home because of the stress I put on her and my baby. So.
But you had the option to do so.
Yeah. I did have the option to do so. I made a decision for that. But yeah. I know in prison you don't have an option like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it don't matter. It's still, most people, when they got an option, they're ready to go, you know?
Yeah. You know, and if I can, I don't know, if I do it again, man, hey, guess what though, man? A month later, I didn't have that option. I just got messed up. So they sent me home anyway.
Yeah.
But
maybe that was you know, I'm a religious man, so I'll say it. Maybe it was a good Lord saying, "Hey, bro, it's your time." You know.
I think that too, man. I think that too.
Yeah.
But I also think, you know, and I don't know if I touched this before about it, but I also think that in a way I was punished, man. One thing that I did. You know, and I don't know if I brought that up before, but I felt like I had that coming somehow because of some stuff I did, you know.
Oh yeah, I felt like that numerous times, man. You know.
You know how you do something wrong and then you're like, man, you know, and because I am religious, man. I believe in a higher power, man. And so, you know, and I don't know if this is what goes where I come around kind of thing, because I didn't put myself in that position over there. You know, sin over there.
Yeah, that's a whole nother extent level. You know what I mean? I would have been like, hell no, I ain't deserve none of this. I ain't deserve none of this. All I did was steal a little bit.
Hey, one time I did say that, man. One time I said, man, if you get me out of this, Lord, man, I will never do it again. Yeah, but that's how I didn't have a choice. They were like, you coming home anyway.
Yeah,
So,
man.
Yeah.
That's wild. Well, when it comes to Green Beret, man, I mean, do y'all stand out? I know, like, you see SEALs come in. You know, they definitely stand out. Does the Green Beret stand out when it's, like, around the normal Army bunch? Do y'all kind of...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you definitely carry a different swag.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to bases, most bases, and you'll never see a Green Beret.
Yeah.
And then Green Beret walks around in there. I mean, I hate to say it, man, but I mean, people look.
Yeah.
You know, they're like damn. You know,
Yeah.
because they don't see it. It's not too often around where I'm at, dude. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
But can you hear that fan?
Nah.
Oh, okay. So, but you go to another base, man. You're a rock star, bro.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
I was a rock star in Afghanistan, bro.
What?
Yeah, I found my wife there.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Stop playing, man.
Man, dude, I'm paying right now for it. Yeah, bro. I got 3 kids now, bro.
Hold on, man. How the hell did it... So you brought her from over there?
Yeah. Well, yeah, she was in the military. But
what military?
She was in the Army. She was
I'm thinking you meant like
No, bro. Dude, against their will, I could never do that.
No,
man.
I'm thinking you meant some. You know, some people like meet girls from other countries, and they can, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still do it.
I got a story real quick for this, man. Okay, so so in Colombia, we do that. They bring wives back. Man, bro, they bring them back from Colombia. But in Afghanistan, because of their beliefs, you're not even looking at their women.
Yeah.
You can't even, if your women's of age and they think that of attractive age, I'm not sure what age I'm until when they get it to they're covered up, bro.
Yeah.
All you see is ankles, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right. And I had this one, and they'll follow that rule. They'll cover up burkas and all that. Like, I was running this one source, man. This mid-level Taliban commander. You know, it's all about the money over there. So you'll get guys to work, even though they'll shoot at you, they'll come and work for you. So it's hard to trust. So I had one that shot at me, and I verified. I knew he was setting us up. But I had one fight. He was like, it's a funny story though. It's not, because I'm like, dude, he's a mid-level Taliban commander, which he's not. He's just maybe a local Taliban fighter.
Yeah. But
he commander. And I used to hear him on the radio. Positioning guys, so I knew his voice. He had a really distinctive voice, and I'm like, man, that's what's in there. He's like, yeah. My translator would say, yeah, that's him. I said, call him in. So we'll get a hold of him, and we'll come in. We're friends for a little bit till he leaves that gate, and then I'm gonna kill him, kind of thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we'll do it. He'll pass me some information. I'll kick him down, keep a couple bucks, and then then when I see him out there, we'll fight each other. In fact, he set up one of my ambushes, and I got predator speed. I was dropping hellfire on the guy, smoking about 6 or 7 of them. I dropped a bomb on him. I'll send you that. It's pretty cool. Like they were ambushing us, and then the predator dropped a bomb on him. Like his body was everywhere, but he was coordinating that attack. But anyway,
and the predators are drones, right? For the people that might not know,
hellfire missiles.
Yeah, those big ass drones. That's crazy. I mean, they're pretty big, right?
Dude, yeah, they don't look big. They look like a UAV, one of those handheld ones.
Yeah,
they're taking off from an airfield.
Yeah,
they're huge, bro.
Yeah, they're pretty damn big. What you think.
Yeah, I never stood next to one, but if I can see them from the altitude, they're pretty. You can hear. Well, you can't hear them, man. They're really quiet. But dude, they're spot on, bro.
Yeah.
Sometimes because that's big, we call it Big Brother. You got to be careful for what you're doing on the ground because you're like, man, they're watching us. Kind of thing.
Oh, the big satellite.
Yeah, the big satellite. Hey, so I had some. That's why I can take those guys out of the house.
Serna, put that J down. What?
Hey, get that syringe out your arm. I'm just working out, man.
That's funny, man.
Oh, you know what, man? We ran across so much opium.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that, man. Opium, that's crazy.
fields and fields of opium. Like you crossing the it'd be up to our chest, and you got the little pads on it with the little pink, pretty flowers.
Yeah.
Man, everywhere, tar everywhere. It was a lot. But yeah, they're messing. But we do control burns, and they would give us a pass. And okay, if there's something in your system, here's a letter saying you guys are cleared. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's crazy,
man.
It's a whole nother world over there, huh?
Yeah, you can find yourself mixed up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good time, though. I forgot about I forgot about the story I was gonna tell you about old boy, the mid-level tailback commander.
Yeah.
So he says, hey, one time he tells me, he says, hey Joe, I'm gonna come and talk to you, and I'm gonna bring my wife in so my wife can go see the doctor, and then I can tell people that if they see me coming through the gates, the reason we're coming through the gates, but I really want to talk to you. Oh man, I got smart. Let's do it. All right, so one day he comes in and I don't see him, and I said, and then so I get a hold of him and say, where you been? He's like, dude, I came in. He said, oh, my wife was waiting for you. I said, who was waiting for me? He said, my wife. I said, what's your wife waiting for me for? He's like, I can't talk to her. I said, no. He's like, no, it was a gift. I said, what's the gift? He's like, I was gonna come in, go to the hospital, and she was gonna go to your room. I said, your wife? He said, yeah. I said, no, man. And my translator, he's interpreting all this, right? And he's getting all mad. He's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, nah. I was like, bro,
that might be a setup.
I said, listen, man. I said, it's against your beliefs. And he's like, not this time, man. It's it's one of those things where I'll make an exception. And I'm like, no, bro.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, man. So, and that's the same guy that ambushed us maybe a week later. In fact, I took that guy on a mission. I stripped him of everything, his phone, everything. Kept him in a room. And then when I pulled him out of the room, I threw him on a helicopter, blindfolded him. He pointed the target out. We hit it. So, but I think he set us up a couple times, man. My partner got shot over that one.
Yeah, that's wild as shit, man.
But about the old lady.
Yeah. You came in like Rockstar, found your old lady. That's wild, man.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, did you happen to see any of that? I don't know if you were positioned out there or not, but like, and what's his name? Saddam Hussein's palace or any of his stuff?
Nah, but we seen Osama bin Laden.
Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah,
you've seen him?
No, I didn't see him. No, I see he had this. It's outside our main base, one of our main bases in Afghanistan. He had a farm out there. We call it a farm, Tarnak Farms. Dude, his place was big. Man, that thing was big, bro. He had a compass. It looked like a palace. That's where he stayed though, right before the whole thing happened.
He was a big oil guy, right? In the family.
Yeah, his family was.
Yeah.
So, and he stayed out there by one of the bases, but we had a chance to look at his compound, man. And that he wasn't struggling, man. This place was nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild as hell, man.
Dude, the camps off, man. We take one or two guys out. We wouldn't take the whole team out. So they say, hey, man, we got a mission coming up. Somebody want to go? Like, yeah, we'll take a guy. Dude, we had a young Canadian, we call it camps off, special operations, a young one, man, and dude, he blew somebody's face off, man. Like, I mean, his whole team didn't experience firefight to that point, and he just got in the country, and he comes with us, man, and the first mission he hits, man, he blew somebody's face off, bro. I mean, the guy sitting in the tree and blew his whole face off, man. His blood came down off that guy's face, man. It hit the rock, man. It sounded like a water balloon when it hit, like, kind of one of those things, man.
Holy
guy's face is
shit!
Smoked his bags, bro.
I'm thinking of Predator, man, when he shoots that beam and it's a.
That's exactly what happened to that guy's face. He got Predators, bro. But that was. That poor guy though, man. That poor guy. He's sitting in the tree, man. We caught that guy.
He didn't know it was coming, man.
Yeah, well, he was sitting there with an AK, so I think he was trying to get out of that area, but got stuck in that tree, and so we kind of like got tired and during our patrol, and kind of like took off our helmets and we sat against the tree, and he was trying to be as quiet as he could, but he stepped on a little branch and broke it, and that Canadian guy just looked up and pow.
Didn't think twice, did he?
Didn't think twice and didn't even aim, bro. Just smoked him, bro. And I was like, damn. But yeah, after that, man, the rest of his team had kind of messed up about it because that young guy got the first kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
The young buck.
yeah, the
Uh,
young buck got it.
Whew. That's wow, man. This is just
Yeah,
it's unbelievable, man. You know, you can watch movies and stuff, hear stories, but you can't even put it into words, man.
yeah,
Snipers. What about snipers? You have any run-ins with them?
yeah.
Yeah. How was
The
that?
sniper,
Or
sniper,
both sides, enemy and friend, man. 'Cause,
yeah. So we run snipers. Every team has their snipers, man. I mean, I ran a truck. You know what they call a truck when we would drive by and they didn't want to. Sometimes they didn't want to fight. They didn't always want to fight. So they'll come by and when they see an SF team come by, they call us porcupines. They let the porcupines go because we have so many guns sticking out the truck. They look like a porcupine. They didn't know how to explain it, so they call us porcupines. Hey, let the porcupines go and then hit the regular guys on behind them. You know, so but sometimes like we had a lot of foreign fighters that that were really they were well trained. I think Chechens that came down and
uh-huh.
they had some. They shot a couple of guys, like a couple of teammates in the head, bro. Ooh. And dude, we had a couple of SF guys, man. They got smoked,
Yeah.
man, by their sharpshooters at night, bro. In the same spot, man. The guy, unfortunately, man, the guy's in the turret. He's standing up. He gets a drop. You know, they kill him, and a week later, man, they got a new guy in that same turret, in the same truck, in the same position, standing up. And gets killed the same way, shot in the head, bro.
I mean,
But,
what do y'all do when y'all know there's a sniper out there? Does everyone stop until the sniper's taken out, or?
so most of like 90% of the time, if we hit an ambush or hit any type of contact, it's just gonna be small contact. It's gonna be AK fire. I've never encountered a sniper. I've never been in a situation where there was a sniper. It was always like maybe they have 30 guys firing AKs at us. So it's an ambush really. And what the regular army is taught to do is push through it, just drive through it and don't stop. But what we do is we'll stop and we'll turn towards the fire, and then we'll drive the trucks into it. And then once we get close enough, then we call our Air Force guy that comes in and starts doing doing this thing. But our job is to stay and fight. We're not taking, and I'm not saying that we're badasses or anything, but they're not going to push us out of the area. That's our area. So we'll stay and fight. Our job is not to get supplies from one base to the other base. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of those guys get killed because there's just regular armies moving supply from one base to the other base, and they just unfortunately get hit on the road. Well, for us, that's our area, so we'll just stay and fight, and then we'll pull off and drop bombs.
All right, man. Well, I mean, those were some very interesting stories to say the least, and I'm sure you got a lot more, and maybe we'll dive into the military aspects later on down the road for part 2 or 3, maybe 4, but you came home after that wild interrogation incident, correct? You were severely injured. What exactly, what were the extent of your injuries? Can you say that?
So, yeah. So, I was, it was from a grenade. He dropped a grenade on me.
Oh, shit.
And so I had I had a lot of holes in me, but they were everywhere, spread out. And most of them were through and through, so it didn't really hit anything vital. The ones that did hit was in my stomach and hit my pancreas. And so they had to cut me open all the way from my chest to the pubic hair. Well, they had to cut me open and take out my pancreas and pull the shrapnel out of there. And that was probably the worst of it. Yeah. Was just cutting me open then afterwards, man, the hernias started happening because I was open now, my muscles were weak. So then I had a series of surgeries, about 4 or 5, because my stomach will open up again and my guts will come out on the skin, and I look like I'm 9 months pregnant, dude. And so that's what got me. So I was recovering. Mentally, I wasn't recovering.
Yeah.
Physically, I had to take care of my body, and so that kept me busy. But once I physically healed, I never took care of my mind. So how did I do that? Started drinking, and that led me down a path, man. That was totally separate from doing anything good.
It's got to be a dark path. Alcohol is nothing but dark paths, my friend.
Dark, and plus that, and then all the medication I was on. There's no excuse of my actions or anything I was doing, but I wasn't living right. I think I was just drinking most of the times, and that's what I ended up going in front of because of that pattern and things that I've done. The things, driving and stuff like, nothing major, just a bunch.
Yeah, a bunch of little petty shit.
Yeah. And but after a while, you see a judge, they'll get tired of you kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so they put me into a veterans court, like drug sobriety courts and stuff like that. But this one was a veterans treatment court. And that's where I ran into that one judge, real solid guy. And I was in that program for about 2 years.
And the judge literally got off his stand to give you a hug, right?
Yeah. And so, he...
was that after the fact of him knowing everything you went through, or what?
Yeah, I think what really got him was when... you're talking about the one that went to jail, right?
The one where you sent me the picture where the judge came and gave you a hug or something? You said you messed up later on down the road and went back?
Yeah. The story was when I went to jail, he sent me... So I messed up once or twice during the court, during the proceedings. So, and I would get overnights, weekends and stuff like that. So I messed up. They kind of slapped me in the hand and said, hey, go do your time. He knew my story really well.
Yeah.
He knew it really well. He seen my paperwork on it. When I say my paperwork, I mean my military records.
Yeah.
And so he knew, that who I was, my background as far as the Green Beret and the things that I did over there. And all my injuries and stuff like that. So we knew each other. I think I was in the court system about a year with him. And, he'll violate, or not violate, he'll slap me and say, you know what, you failed through this test. Go ahead and do a day in jail, do 2 days. So that's how we really got connected. When he sentenced me to jail.
Yeah.
And I showed up, I reported like at 3:00 to the county. And he was sitting there waiting for me by the deputy desk. All right. And he's like, hey, Joe. When I went to jail, I walked in, I seen him there at the desk. And he's like, hey, Joe, come around the desk. I said, do I have to go through the metal detector? Like, you want me to go on that side of the desk with you? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, shoot. And I look at the deputy, and he's like, do what he says. He's a judge. So I'm like, all right. And so I jump, I go to his side on the outside, on the other side of the desk, like we're leaving the building. I was coming in, I go to the metal detector, I went around, and he said, hey, come with me. So we leave the building, we leave the county, and we jump in his car, right? And he slaps the J plate on his, before we get in, he slaps the J plate on his car, his license plate.
Yeah.
So I guess they got special license plates. So he slaps the J plate on his license. Yeah, and then we jump on.
That's why I couldn't find him last week.
Yeah. So yeah, he slapped J plate on.
Yeah.
And we jump on 95. And we're heading south for South Carolina. And I'm like, man, and I'm sitting in the passenger side. I don't know what's going on. But he don't tell me anything. And maybe I come community service that we're going to go do or something. And I'm like, oh, Joe, shut up. I'm like, yeah, man. Right? and then we pull up to Lumberton. It's the town right before South Carolina. And we pull up in Robinson County. That's the name of the county. And so we pull up to the county jail, Robinson County. And he's like, hold on, Joe. All right. So he runs in and he talks to the deputy director, whatever it is. And then he'll come out 10 minutes later, come with me. So I go in there and we go to this huge office, bro. I go to nice plaques everywhere. And I'm like, oh, damn, I'm sitting next to, and I take my medication at the time, right? To relax. And so I'm sitting in the office next to the judge and then the deputy warden, something like that. And the medication starts kicking in. And I'm looking at the judge, he's looking at me, and he's like, you okay? But in my head, he's like, Smokey, the whole thing? I'm like, oh, shit. I can't hide my nervousness now.
Yeah.
And then the guy's looking at me, and I'm like, man, just whatever you got to do, man, let me just get out of here, right? Out of the office. And he's like, okay, Joe, go ahead and check in. dude, my leg felt like my leg stretched because I was walking past him, I tripped, right? Because of the medication, I was so like relaxed. And I'm like, oh, damn. And so by the time I was out the door might have been like 5 feet away, man, but it felt like 20 feet.
Yeah.
Right? So I hit the door real quick, and I go in process. And then I start in process. They take me back to a cell. They take me back to a cell.
And this is like regular county? This ain't no federal stuff or nothing like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Robeson County Jail. And so they take me back, and they put me in a cell, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, dude, I only got 24, so I don't care what they do for the rest, right? So this is easy.
Yeah.
I'll get out in 12 hours. And I hear the door, right? And I'm like, oh, man, I just got it. What do they need? And the door opens, and there's about 4 or 5 deputies come in, and then behind them, the judge is carrying a bedroll and 2 plates of food, 2 trays, right? Yeah, carries the chow. And then he comes in. Yeah, he comes in, and I'm like, all right, what you doing here? And he's like, oh, I'm just gonna stay the night. I said,
Stop playing, man.
No, man. I said, I'm staying the night. And I'm like, you're gonna stay the night here in this cell. He's like, yeah. I said, Judge, there's only 1 bed, right? I said, only single bunk. And he's like, no, I got the ground, right? Because he had his bedroll in his hand. And so I mean, they closed the door, and this guy starts acting like he just like I don't say anything for a couple hours, man. I'm just like nervous, right? And he's like, oh man, I gotta go sign my own warrant or my own arrest order, right? So he fills it outside under the desk, on the door, for his own order. And I'm like, man, I don't know what's going on in my head now. Now I'm really confused, right? So he's so anyway, it's about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I'm still we're just warming up now. Like, hey, what's up? Like I didn't even know the guy. I know who he was, right? He brought me there, so I'm like, oh man. So he starts acting like an inmate, and I'm like, oh, come on, man, too soon. Like banging on the door. Yeah, man, come on, Judge. He's like, no, we're selling. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So he starts banging. So he starts banging on the door, talking shit to the COs, and I'm like, man, we only got 12 hours, right? Hey, I'll tell you what though, secret, man. He said we ate some lasagna. That boy didn't eat. He flushed it.
Oh, he flushed it?
Yeah, he didn't eat none of it, man. I looked at him, he's like, I ain't eating it. You? I'm like, nah. Right?
Oh, it was the jail lasagna?
Yeah, it was he had 2 trays.
Oh, I thought he was bringing like some special exotic trays from the street.
No, he brought 2 trays from the
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it was lasagna. Yeah, lasagna. He flushed it.
So the judge literally stayed the night with you.
Yeah. So so we got I don't know about 12 hours. It was long. Just in the morning, they released us at 6, and so that was it for that one.
And what, you have to go in front of that same judge later on? Didn't you say you got in trouble a little more?
Yeah.
Violated probation or something?
Yeah, violated probation, violated the orders, and so I ended up getting a bit more time for that one. Yeah, I think it's about a year and a half after that one.
And what was it the same judge?
No, but when I was in the bullpen, in the bullpen at the thing,
yeah,
they told him I was there.
Oh, so he knew what time it was. He's like, man, I did all that shit for nothing, man.
Oh, so embarrassed to see him, man. He comes in the bullpen, he looking in, and I'm just like, God, man, I'm so embarrassed right now. As soon as I seen the one judge, they went back and told him, like, hey, Joseph, and I'm like, oh man. So I felt so bad. My lips all shaking, like.
hey, I've done something like that, man. I begged this dude that I knew from the streets. I wrote so many request forms. I was like, man, I know I'm not allowed to be in this trustee. I know my charges don't allow me, but please, man, just give me a chance. After just a couple months of just pumping letters to him, and I knew him from the streets too, but one of the guys, but they got me a job, I think, within like 2 weeks, man. He came back in the hole. He's like, coffee and jalapenos, man, because I ended up getting caught stealing some coffee and jalapenos. I felt ashamed. I said, look, man, I'm in jail, man. I saw him. I ain't had coffee in damn forever, man. What do you expect? Damn it.
You can't put it in front of you, man.
Yeah.
I was 2.
Shoot. Yeah, that was a crazy one.
So you were embarrassed to see him again because he was.
I wasn't too much. I wasn't too embarrassed. I was more just let down because he had to go through his pops, I think, and everything to get me in there. And it was just, nobody likes a thief anyway. But you know, that's you know, it's just how it was, man. You know, but
so they didn't send me. So when they violated me, they sent me to misdemeanor confinement.
To what?
They were misdemeanor confinement program. So you guys have that in Virginia?
Misdemeanor confinement?
Yeah, so it's a lot of people who have a lot of same charges. You know, drinking related, alcohol related stuff.
Yeah, they usually keep those people grouped together, and they don't even like mix them with violent offenders or anything like that.
Well, they'll send us to different counties.
Oh,
and then when they send you to a different county, you're just gonna work it off.
Yeah.
So you're just a trustee. So that's what they kind of did. Instead of sending you to prison, they'll just send you to a county and throw you on like some work detail, and then you do the time there.
Well, how was it?
The work?
No, jail in general, man. Was this shit boring as hell? Food nasty?
Yeah, I mean, it was. You know how it is, Josh.
Yeah.
It's probably the same everywhere.
Well, I'm saying like coming from you know, being in all the military and stuff like that. I mean,
I'll tell you what, man. I think I was more ashamed than anything. Like when I got there, I mean, they put me on the road crew, picking up trash. You know, I kind of had it was humbling experience. Didn't want, you know, just you come from somewhere where my background, and it was nothing special, but you know, you work hard for all these years just to come back and then
nothing special, my ass. You know, hey, look, every time someone like you came into lockup, bro, I would sit there like a fly on him, man. Like, hey, tell me some more stories, man. Come on. Like, I had a dude that was locked up. His name was Christopher Droutliff, if I remember correctly. He was a dude that worked for Blackwater, and he got in trouble. But dude, the stories he would tell me, because I was his bunkie for a few months before he got in a fight and got transferred out the block. But the stories he'd tell me was insane. You know, just like you tell me your stories, man. Guys like that, I bet when guys were asking you when you're working or something, like, I know they were probably getting to know you a little bit. Most guys, when they're locked up next to each other, get to know each other a little bit for the most part. Did you ever open up and say to these dudes, "Hey, this is what I've experienced," and I bet they're shocked. I bet they're like, "Damn, dude," like me right now.
So the one thing I did not say was the whole TV thing, the judges and stuff. I kept that away, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
I said, man, I was like, hey, man. One guy recognized, and that was he was one guy, but we were in the bullpen at that. But you know, once they sent me down to pod, there was nobody knew. So, but they kind of, dude, if you see my body, man, that thing is beat up, bro. And you're gonna see nothing but holes and scars, man. So they would ask about that.
They're definitely gonna ask.
Yeah. So I mean, dude, I got. That's what really got the conversation going. And then once that started going around, then they're like, they want to know what was going on. Like, hey man, what happened here? Kind of thing. People were interested. It was cool, man. There ain't issues. After that, man, it was just time.
Yeah.
I was just trying to sit it out.
Yeah, boring after that. After you get past all that bullshit, it's just straight.
I never gambled like that. I never passed time like that gambling, bro.
Well, it sounded like you probably had a little more stuff to do on your hands, you know, than I did. I ain't have shit but to work out and then do something bad. That was it. Do something bad and work out.
Yeah, they sat you down, huh?
Yeah, man. It wasn't too much to do, but that's crazy, man. I mean, can you put yourself in someone's shoes doing 20, 30 years now?
Dude, I can't, bro. I would not.
That shit's crazy, huh?
I was looking at 5 to 6 years. I don't know, man. Dude, that's a long time, bro. And I watch some of your guys that come on your channel, man, and the time they had behind them and the time it's done. Bro, that's
like you done 19 years, right? All that time, all those stories, all that stuff, and then you got some guys that are just in a fucking box for 19 years.
In a box,
not doing a fucking thing, dude. Nothing for 19 years, but what? Listening to what's going on outside. That's my next video is isolation. And that shit is
that's a scary thing, bro.
It's crazy,
dude,
man.
That has to mess with your mind.
Yeah, it definitely does, man. And some of these guys that I'm gonna be bringing to my viewers' attention, man. I mean, they were no human contact type shit, like buried under the ground, no sunlight. You know, like how can you do that for that long, man? You know, with nothing but a Bible in there. You know, that's it. It's crazy.
How do you keep yourself busy, man? Do you like? Dude, some of these guys come out too. I see on the channel. They're really smart too. Like,
they got their shit together. It surprises a lot of people that they actually do talk with sense. You know what I mean? Even after doing all that crazy amount of time. You know.
Do you think it's about? You think it's because a lot of reading?
I think.
Or it's a lot of time on their hands.
Actually, man, you know what? I think not only is it because a lot of people they do learn and wisen up, but I think naturally, before drugs and all the shit, we were brilliant people, man. You know, and we really just don't see it until we get locked the hell up and we get stripped from all the shit that keeps us away from our brilliance. You know, so I think that's what it is. A lot
of talent too.
Yeah, and then there's just some naturally born dumbasses out there that just don't. You're just a dumbass, man. Like, what the hell you doing, man? You'll never learn, dude.
Come back.
You know,
like it there, man.
Yeah, that's just their life, man. This is what they're born to do, you know. But that's wild, man. This was a very interesting story. I would love to have you on for multiple parts, man. Hear other stories about this. Every time I have someone on talk about military, man, it always intrigues me. Like I said, I mean, do you have any shout outs or anything you'd like to say before we head out?
No, just to my boy. You know, I'm not, like I said, man. I was just here to tell your story, man. You know, just and no, you know, so I'm not here for anything else, man. Just to tell a story, but I take care of my kids, especially my son Alex Serna. Yeah, my little man. So just shout out to him.
That's what's up, man. He's got some big shoes to fill, you know?